We are going to start with Mrs. Rubin Anjola, and you are going to be asking questions on the FOI bill. Thank you.
Calls observed again, and good afternoon to all. The FOI bill, that is the Freedom of Information Bill, was signed into law in 2011 by the President, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Now, this law is supposed to ensure free access of information of government activities to the citizenry. It's in a bid to ensure that the democracy is upheld to the letters. Now, this has not been the reality in some states of the Federation. Now, the question is this: what plan does your administration have to ensure that the FOI bill is upheld in Oyo State?
Thank you. So, again, we are going to start with Engineer Seyi Makinde. If you become governor, what are you going to do about the FOI bill?
Again, information flow has to do with leadership. For me, as the governor of Oyo State, I already said it in many of my campaign messages that on day one of being sworn in, I will declare my assets publicly. I will also encourage all the people that are going to work with me, if they are up to it, they should, declare their assets publicly. That's the biggest information that you may actually want to hide as the governor of Oyo State is, what are you worth? What are your assets? If underhand dealings are going on under you, can it be exposed? So from day one, I will provide strong leadership, and I will ensure that people of Oyo State, they know what my assets and my liabilities are. Secondly, in this whole campaign, if you go on the internet, I'm probably the only one with a functional website with information, not Facebook pages. I've tried to search for other candidates' websites to even see, what's going on with their campaign. I didn't see it. I saw Facebook pages, and Twitter walls and stuff like that. But if you go to Seyi Makinde for governor.com, it's a website paid for. And when they were reading my profile at Premier FM a couple of days ago, I asked, where did you get all of this information? And they pulled it off my website. So it is the same type of leadership that we are going to encourage as the governor of Oyo State. The information are going to be out there, and we will guarantee the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as it relates to the ease of obtaining the information. We will encourage also all the people working with us to stay away from propaganda, to stay away from reeling out data that may or may not be true. We will be factual. I said to the good people of Oyo State, I may not be right all the time because I'm human, but I will be honest with them all the time. Whatever is going on with their government, they will know it. Thank you.
Yeah, Senator Teslim, Folarin, please. No, don't worry. Let us do our job here.
Thank you very much. Thank you for letting us know that this bill was passed in 2011, and I find it most disappointing that nothing has been done to domesticate this bill in Oyo State. For me, freedom of information is sacrosanct. It's very important. It's key. I was part of the National Assembly that passed the law. And it's okay to say, oh, it was done at the federal level. but it is very useful at every local, every tier of government. There's so many information we would like to know about this government, for instance, but there is no freedom of information bill that would enable us to ask those questions. But having said that, what I would do as a governor of Oyo State is within 3 to 6 months, we would domesticate the freedom of information bill. We will do that in Oyo State. And then the other aspect of the law, in retrospect, look at the law. It places too much burden on the individual. What do I mean? The individual writes to any agency of government to say, look, give me this information. And then the agency would say, look, we're not ready or whatever reasons, give me some time. And then the information never comes. And then the individual is expected to take that agency to court. And as we all know, most individuals don't have the resources to do that. So what we would also do is to have a commission where the individuals can report to say, look, we have asked for this information, we've given them enough notice, nothing has been done, then please take it up. This commission would then have the responsibility of taking whatever agency to court. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. And Senator Ladoja, if you have an opportunity,
the FOI is a federal act. It doesn't need to be domesticated. So people will have to be told that they have right to those information. And I think this is where journalists come in. You see, I've been in government before, and I know the pressure on governor. And I know also the problem that our aides create for us by trying to protect us. Information that are generally supposed to go to the public, they hold it. But if the journalists are doing their work of investigative journalism, they will be able to see whether those acts are complied with or not. I've not seen anybody who said that he asked for any information and it was not given to him. It was denied him. So I can assure you that we will create a bureau where you can get any information about government. And also, we will also expect a feedback, because most of the time, people feed us with information. We can say we produce 100 million liters of water an hour, but does it get to the users? That is the problem. So statistics are good, but does it really work in this situation? So this is the situation. So it's not a question of not saying we do it, because most of the time governors depend on information passed on back to them. And in cases where you are even using consultants must earn their pay, so they will tell you that you are working. So these are the problems that we face in governance. I've been there before. So the major crisis any government we have are the people working with us. And I can assure you that we will not allow that one to hinder our own progress, because we will give an open government. The FOI bill doesn't need to be domesticated. It's already a law of Nigeria and it will be respected.
Yes, the FOI bill is simply to ensure that there is freedom and access to information. And I believe it takes 3 elements. 1, those who have the information, government. 2, the medium. 3, those who require the information. I believe most sincerely that virtually every government has this, if you like, this phobia of releasing information. And since we came in, particularly when we started negotiating with workers, they had free access to information. In fact, I instructed the finance department or ministry to ensure that workers have free access to what we bring in, to what we are spending. And they all know in the negotiation that nothing was hidden. So for me, it is the government's duty to encourage dissemination of information. And it is about governance itself, it's about transparency, it's about accountability, and it's about responsiveness. I believe more and more that our journalists, those who require information themselves, must go a bit further in coming. For instance, I've asked people who will come to me and say, Oga, they said you have not paid teacher's salary. My question is, before you even come as a journalist, have you gone to the ministry to find out? Have you gone to the teachers to find out? And to date, even when people are telling you half-truths, you yourself should investigate and find out. So for information, I believe that it takes three most important strategic areas of the informer, those who require the information, and the medium. And I honestly appeal to journalists. I would have loved a situation where, as I'm sitting down, they can say here and stand up and say, Oga, when we came to ask you for this, you said information is not available. This is what we want to be seen. And our people should be more challenging. That way, it takes two to get to tango. It takes two to pass information and to have feedback. So that is my own concept on information. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I think we need to give a round of applause to all the candidates. Thank you very much. We go to Mrs. Edem Osai to ask her last question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Greetings once again, distinguished candidates. Oyo State, at the moment, can boast of several industrial projects. You have examples in Erumu Inland Water Container Depot. You have Egbokhare Free Trade Zone. We have Okerete Transnational Border Market. We have several industrial estates, for example, Olubadan Industrial Estate and Oliole Industrial Estate. With the vision that gave birth to these industrial projects, Oyo State should be a hub of industry, one would say, or at least, competing at a very optimal level to GDP contributions in the area of manufacturing and industry. But that's not the reality on the ground. What, in your opinion, lies as the challenge to commerce and industry in Oyo State, such that we are not yet positioned as a hub of industry, which is our actual potential? And how will you address these challenges if given the opportunity? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. If you may add to that as a rider, since we're talking about economy and commerce and so on, how can Oyo State benefit from being close to Lagos? And how can we change this economy from an artisan economy to a manufacturing, a production economy? So just add that as a rider to this question. So we are going to start this time from Senator Ladoja.
I know the problems of industries. Even industries that are well seated were packing out of Nigeria because of the problem of infrastructure. Liver Borders is gone. So we can tell you that when the problems that are being faced, when the problems are solved, Oyo State will take over. But that be as it may, the industry, there are some industries that don't really need that big infrastructure to survive, because you can create those power plants inside your own factory, like cassava-based industries. they use the water which was washed to wash the cassava to create the biogas which they use in generating electricity. So, in our own case, we will put emphasis on agro-allied industries. And it is not we, I'm saying it's not government. Maybe government will only encourage and give maybe and take minimal participation to encourage investors to come and do it. Because when we say we want to massively produce agricultural outputs, we must also find a way of transforming them. So the industrial estates are there. But the problem that we have today is actually not encouraging more industries to come in, except those industries that can generate their own power. So it's a malaise in Nigeria. It's not only Oyo State. It's a malaise. It's a problem. You know how many textile factories closed down? How many vegetable oil factories closed down in the north particularly? So that is how it is. So we are working within Oyo State. We will create those industries that don't need that major input. I have seen them in Thailand. All of them use their own waste to generate power for their own use. And I told you, between Shaki and Okerete, 100 kilometers, there is nothing you cannot do there. Between Ijio and Ayegun, there is nothing you cannot do there. I am actually of the belief that this state is blessed with agricultural land, and we will use it to the maximum. So please, the industry that are there today, RAS warning now. Is that final? I thought it's warning.
Our approach in my own party would be very simple. We would start small. We would, at the beginning when I was talking, I talked about the need to begin to make our youths, who are very clever by the way, to make them to think outside the box. I'm not going to sit here to say I'm an expert in this, but there's a need for all of us to come together and see how we can solve the problem. If you look at the present policy of the present administration, it is based on top to bottom. I was reading in something in one of the magazines where His Excellency, the governor, was priding himself that the foreign investors have brought in about 20,000 jobs. Given that we have about 46% unemployment rate in Oyo State, 20% is not good enough. So the point I'm making is this. Whilst we welcome foreign investors to come into this country, and we will do everything to make sure that they come by creating an enabling environment, we also have to start small. You look at the economies of the Western countries for people, I want to believe people who have been privileged to travel around the country. You go to cities like New York, and you find that it's all the small companies that drives the economy. They drive it. And that is sustainable because they're local guys, they learn, they go through the normal ropes and then grow. You help them grow. And as a government, we should be there to provide the support. My government will set up a small and medium enterprise unit that would be there 24/7, replicated even at the local government level to help these youths. Like I said, the youths of these days are very clever. You can see what they've done in the entertainment industry, in IT industry. And what we need to do is to begin to help them find their feet in areas of agriculture. We talked about the potential that lies within agriculture and mining. These are the sort of things that we should be helping these kids do, rather than concentrate on just bringing foreign investors. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Engineer Seyi Makinde, please.
Thank you. The new approach for us to accelerate industrial development in Oyo State will be based on a clear and factual understanding of the strengths and weaknesses of Oyo State as a polity, and a robust appreciation of the need to use what we have to get the things that we don't have, as relatively and comparatively higher literacy rates, we're resourceful, but we're confronted with high rate of urbanization, backed by an expansive land resource. So that industrialization will have to be based on agro-allied industries. We need to encourage people to come in here. We have issue of power. We have to ensure that first our power infrastructure is developed. The company where my father worked last, Ansel, they set up at Olubadan Estate a livestock feed mill, but it still failed. It failed because they were using a whole lot of their money to buy diesel. So we will ensure that power infrastructure is adequately tackled before we even start asking people to come set up industries here. Again, we have the issue of infrastructure. I'm campaigning at Okeogun Axis. The next local government to Isheyin, Itesiwaju, they asked me, look, we have a problem, seasonal problem here to evacuate our produce. And I said to them, so what do you want me to do? They said, we hope you're not going to construct a road from Isheyin to Isheyin, to assist us. We want a road from Isheyin, to pass through Itesiwaju and all the way to Shaki. That is the only way we can guarantee that their products are going to be able to live such an environment. Yes, we can also decide to set up localized industries in there. Again, we'll be faced with the same problem. We have to deal with electricity and we have to deal with infrastructure. And the way we deal with infrastructure is to ensure that roads, for instance, that are going to take goods, finished products from one location to the centers where they can be exported or they can be consumed, we will give adequate attention to that. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Senator Ajimobi, please.
Thank you. I think for us is to have a developmental approach to our economic development. I.e., you must start with providing conducive atmosphere. The first one being peace. There must be peace. The second one, there must be infrastructure. Investors don't come here because they like you. They come because they want to make profit from their money. And therefore, we must make this place attractive to them. 3 is the fact that when you now look at the infrastructure that we have, we started by ensuring that this infrastructure allows investors to come in. Our environment must also be there. Then lastly, we must ensure that both the formal and informal sector are encouraged. So when it comes to industrialization, we have already, through our providing enabling environment, 8 giant companies moved to Oyo State in the last 3-4 years. 1, you have the largest soya bean producer in West Africa. It's now in Oyo State. It was through our own going abroad, talking to people, and we brought them here. You have the largest powdered milk manufacturer now in Oyo State. You have the largest day-old chicks manufacturer, producer, producing 100,000 day-old chicks a day. It's now in Oyo State. You have the largest bread producer in the whole of Africa. It's now in Oyo State. You have the largest ICT service provider. It's now in Oyo State. Now, what we are saying, gentlemen, is that even Total Nigeria has made Oyo State now the center of training for all African drivers and artisans in Oyo State. Then, ShopRite, the largest in Nigeria, is now in Oyo State. What does that mean? You must provide enabling environment for people to come in. Industries don't come unless you do the right thing. two things we are trying to do now. We are now establishing a logistics center where, because Ibadan is very close to Lagos, once the roads are good from Lagos, which is federal government road, thank God they are doing it now. This place will be the gateway between Lagos and the rest of Nigeria, particularly the north. And we have signed an agreement to start a logistics center in Oyo State. Lastly, gentlemen, because of all these efforts, investment inflow into Oyo State, according to federal government Bureau of Statistics, grew from 203, it is now 697%, published by federal government.
Thank you.
So we are providing the
Thank
enabling
you.
environment.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, we are now in the final phase. And the candidates will now have an opportunity to trade tackles. And I think this is the moment we have been waiting for. And this phase is going to be anchored by no other than Edmond Obilo.
Hello.
Mr. Governor, did Ladoja refund about 500 million as a plea bargain to you?
I maintain, without any equivocation, that Senator Ladoja's led government, including himself, returned more than 500 million naira.
Please, please. Why did he return more than 500 million naira?
Why? Because EFCC came in, some people wrote petitions, and then they came in and they arrested all the people involved, including himself, and they asked the money to be refunded, and it has been refunded to us.
Please, please. If you want me to flow like I flow on radio, just listen. There's no need to applause. This is bullseye on stage. Are you saying that Senator Ladoja stole more than 500 million from the Oyo State coffers by selling shares and did not return the proceeds?
Did you hear my answer? With my answer, you don't need to ask that question. I said, Senator Ladoja's government and participants, including himself, returned the sum of 500 million naira plus. From EFCC returned the money to us. He didn't personally give us, unexpectedly of course, but it was returned.
Senator Ladoja, did you return more than 500 million?
I, Senator Rasheed Ladoja, did not return 1 penny to the state government. And all effort to paint me black failed because, one, the checks displayed by your state government were not refunded by me, and in fact, they were even refunded before I was even questioned by EFCC. And I had an opportunity before to explain to you, because the governor said it was in case of plea bargain, and there was nothing like plea bargain. We never did any plea bargain. So if it is refunded for plea bargain, then there was no plea bargain, therefore no money was returned by me. The case is still in court.
Mr. Governor.
And the money that the governor said was returned in May 2008. I was only invited in August 2008, and there was nothing. I returned to either to EFCC or to Oyo State government. And I told you the circumstances of that. Unfortunately, the main actor is not here, because maybe he will have thrown better light. The main actor said the problem was that we tried to encourage Senator Ladoja to work with us in 2007 to 2011. He refused. And therefore we said we must taint his holier than thou image. And he said it to a very senior statesman. And that one said it was wrong. So we have not done one more.
You have threatened to take the governor to court.
We have. Yes, the lawyer is here.
And you want 10 billion.
We wrote a letter to the governor also, and which he claimed he did not receive until we published the acknowledgement. So which means that the governor is not always truthful in what he says.
Before I come to Senator Folarin, Mr. Governor, Senator Ladoja on different occasions told me that you inflated the cost of Mokola Bridge. Did you inflate the cost?
I think there is a need for education here. Now, Mokola Bridge, if you go and check the records, Mokola Bridge was conceived in 1976. It was in the report of Dr. Oluloyo that there should be, it's not even a bridge, it's a flyover. And that the flyover should be constructed. And during Senator Ladoja's government, they produced, if you like, estimates and so on and so forth. Based on what they produced, we called the engineers, the same engineers in the ministries, and they studied it and they brought their estimate. In fact, it was very close to each other, except that inflation, of course, the price of cement in 2004-05 is different from the price of cement now. So you don't expect the same price to be. However, every contract must be done and estimated with a payment by the ministry. So the ministry provided the cost of 2.1 billion naira for that flyover. In between the cost estimate, there was a price increase of petroleum products. Hence, the price jumped by about 40%. And when the price jumped, of course, when I was building my house, cement was 3 naira. Today, cement is no longer 3 naira. So the price was adjusted. The cost of living index also increased by over 50%. In this case, the price with all the other adjustments became 2.9 billion naira. When you compare your cost of projects, if you are an engineer and if you understand project costing, you will know that the cost of any project depends on so many factors, i.e. your cost element, the infrastructure of the road you are doing, the furniture of the road you are doing, the project, areas of requirement in terms of moving. So generally speaking, my answer is without any reservation, the price of that flyover, when you compare it relatively speaking, even with Ogun State, it's a very competitive price.
Senator Ladoja, do you want to respond?
Yeah.
I'm coming to you now.
I want to say that my brother is very good at giving statistics. But what we are saying is we compared Ogun State flyover, which is double lane and 1.5 times our own. And we discovered that for every 1 naira Ogun State spent on their own, we spent 6 naira. So that is why we cried out. We said, secondly, Ogun State allowed trailers to pass through their own because it was piled foundation. Our own was raft foundation. So we said, so 2 things we were complaining about. The Malete Bridge was built decades back. They provided for trailers to pass through. It was double lane. So, and Ogun State was also double lane, nearly 1.5 times our length here, and it cost them less than our own. So that is what we are saying. I've seen that the terrain of Makola is worse than that of Ogun State, which is very close to Ogun River. I still insist that the price was not correct. Either, and again, some people were sacked in the ministry because they refused to endorse the bills.
The governor will not take that lightly. Sir, briefly, can
Sir, Egbo, hello, gentlemen. Egbo, nobody was sacked for not signing. If you look at the papers, everybody signed. But let me answer your question. First, the difference between a flyover and a bridge.
Okay.
Ogun State.
Hello, sirs.
Ogun State was also a flyover. Ogun State was also a flyover,
yes,
not a bridge.
Then let's now compare likes with likes.
Okay, we have to leave this subject. But
no, don't leave it. Don't leave it. Don't leave it.
What's that? What?
We have to leave this subject.
Don't leave it. Don't leave it. Please.
No, because
what
we
is
have
it?
Senator Folarin on this stage.
What is it?
Okay, briefly, Senator.
Let me shed more light. Hello. When you are doing comparison, you must compare apples and apples. Ogun State, the length, the width of Ogun State flyover, the same one. Incidentally, we are lucky, is the same contractor. Good. The flyover.
That is the pity of it.
That
is the pity of it.
Let me explain now. Wrong information, Egbo. Listen, what I'm telling you. What I'm saying, Ogun State flyover, and I want you to go and check the records. Ogun State flyover, our own width, the width for our own flyover is about 10 meters. Ogun State flyover is 11.2 meters. Our own length is about 540 meters. Their own length is 360 meters. Length times breadth. Go and check.
All right. All right, sir.
Go and check. You are lying, Egbo.
I'm the moderator now. I'm the moderator now. Okay.
He's here.
Okay,
He's
sir.
here.
Thank you.
He's here.
Can you give them a round of applause? Can you give them a round of applause? Can you give them a round of applause?
He's here.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. You see,
He's here.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Our own is more.
All right, sir.
Go and check.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Our own is more.
Thank you.
And that's why, Obilo, even before this questioning, you yourself should go and find out and show us.
All right, sir.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, there is something Senator Ladoja told me in 2013. You want to know what? Senator Ladoja told me something in 2013 about Senator Teslim Folarin. He told me that Senator Folarin came to meet him in London. And in the discussion, a term came out. Ladoja said, Jagba. Did Folarin come to London to tell you about Akala when, according to some story, Folarin and his friends hijacked the PDP structure from Akala, and he wanted you to come in, and you felt because they have Jagba Akala, he came to Jagba you too.
You mix it up.
All right.
That of whether they are 419 Akala or not was here in Nigeria. When I said, but you are now working with Akala, I said, no, we are not working with him. We just use him to get what we want. In London, it is a question of come and join PDP. And I said, you already have the structure in your hand, which is not acceptable to many other members. Why don't you put everything down? Let us start all over again. And he said, what I have, I hold. And I said, if what you have, you hold, then you don't need me. It was not in Nigeria that I was asked to come, that it was when I queried them that, look, you are now working with Akala. Yes, I said, 419. I said, they said, we Agbani. Yes, Agbakalani. That is the truth now.
Senator Folarin, you know, I have listened to you debate. And you, any intention let me lay some precedents. You consistently say you don't have money. You were asked in a debate, why didn't you tar the road in front of your house? You said it's because you don't have money like Seyi Makinde.
And I also made it up crystal clear that it is the responsibility, should be the responsibility of government at whatever level to tie.
Yes. And you were asked again here, what is your contribution to your alma mater? When you answered that question, you said you were not a rich man. As a former Senate leader, you are saying to Nigerians that Senator Teslim Folarin is not a rich man and therefore cannot contribute to UI. Is that a Jagba tactics?
I think, hang on, Edmond, I think I find this a bit confusing. You started with the Jagba thing, and then you've now, which one do you want me to answer, both or?
I just wanted to establish that word Jagba and
Okay.
use it to give examples of some of your answers in debates like this. Because the impression that has been created, if you don't know, is that you are a smart young man. You are smarted Akala and hijacked the party. Seyi Makinde is here. He's still licking his wound. You have smarted him out of the PDP.
No, Edmond, see, I have put whatever happened within PDP behind me. We're looking towards the future with hope.
Okay, can you talk to us?
Let me, Edmund. You know me reasonably well, that I would be honest with you in my answers.
We have 15 minutes more to round up this debate. Please, let's listen.
The art of politics is to outsmart each other. Once it is not done, hang on. That's the truth of the matter. If you have 3 or 4 people who are interested in one position, okay, and then you want to go to one destination, there's only one car to take to that destination, and there are 4 people who want to use the car. So what do?
You can't, okay. Hello.
And also, no. Because at the end of the day, silence please. At the end of the day, politics, the bottom line in politics is interest. So I'm going to protect my own interest first. With all due respect, not Senator Ladoja's interest, my Teslim Folarin's interest first. So when I went to Oga, because I didn't think you'd ask me these questions, but I don't want to join issues with Oga because in all ramifications is much more senior than me. But I have to answer this question. When I went to him in London, and he said, this ESCO cannot stand. And my thought then, I didn't say it to him, was that, hang on, if Oga is in Accord Party and wants to come to our party, how can somebody in Accord Party be telling us that what we have done is wrong or right? That is the first issue for me. And I also suspected that he was going to come out for the governorship. So you're now asking me, when I'm in prime position, to now disband the ESCO, and then you would come in and take over the structure. And I said, no, it ain't going to happen. That's the truth of the matter. And then let me make this point. When, in 2003, when Chief Adeojo was in charge of the structure, we were under Governor Ladoja, under Babade Dubu. We know what we did to take the structure of Adeojo.
All right. Engineer Seyi Makinde.
Yes, Edmund.
Seated very close to the governor. You are seated very close to the governor. Do you want to ask the governor what happened in Soka?
Well, I'll rather, concentrate on some of the things that we can do differently. I'll give an example. Soka is intimately linked to the issue of security in Oyo State. Security is linked to the economy, because if we have an economy that shuts down at 8 o'clock, then, it's a problem. We can't be saying we want to develop the economy, treat the issue of poverty, and then at 8 o'clock, people will have to go home. Some of the things that I would have done differently, if I take the street lights that we see, they are not on anymore because the government is not able to afford diesel to run those generators, because those street lights are being run on generators. What I would have done to achieve the same objective would have been, I'll use gas generators instead of diesel. And people can check it. Just hold on one second.
I'm looking of Soka. Soka, to be specific, because the governor had the opportunity to use this event to explain what happened in Soka. Do you have any question for the governor?
Well, okay. Now, if that is the direction you like to go, what I would also like to ask the governor, apart from SOCA, I will add what happened when my campaign office was invaded by, the agencies on purported instruction from government. That's one. And two, when the people of Aleshin Lawyer, they had the fire incident, and then we went there, we promised them a borehole, and we actually mobilized to go in there with the borehole machine, and the local government caretaker chairman out there led thugs to that particular location, disrupted it, and even they destroyed the machine. So I would love to ask, the issue of security and sustenance of peace has been central to this current administration, but these issues, they also happened.
I can, Edmund, excuse me.
Yes, can I?
I was wondering whether I can help Seyi Makinde on the show thing and ask questions of the governor.
You were going to ask a question too. Senator Folarin is going to ask the governor a question too. Yes. Okay, Senator, you can ask so that he can answer at the same time.
Thank you. Now, I'm glad you brought up the issue of SOCA, and I don't think we should laugh. For me, it is one of the darkest periods in the history of this state. And I want to ask, how is it possible, for God's sake, for such dastardly act to happen under the supervision of this government? That's number one question. Number two question. When the governor went to pay a courtesy visit, not courtesy, a condolence visit, or visited Shoka, we understand that a woman was killed. A woman was shot by a stray bullet. And I want to ask the governor whether there's been any contact with the family of this, the victim, the woman that got shot.
Two questions, sir. Thank you, sir.
It's one question, 1A, 1B.
So that the governor will not speak for 20 minutes.
Thank you. I think let me take it from Teslim Folarin's point of view. He said, how come such a dastardly act could have been committed? It would be nice to know how come, as a senator, himself and some crooks went to remove Senator Ladoja from office. How come? How come it happened? And you are now asking me, how come?
My removal had nothing to do with Senator Folarin. It had to do with the president. President Olusegun Obasanjo.
How come he was the agent of the president?
My removal had nothing to do with Folarin. It had to do simply and squarely with General Olusegun Obasanjo, who was president at that time.
All right.
Neither Chief Adudubu nor Bayo Akala could Ladoja. It was Obasanjo that said Ladoja must go because of third term. That's simple.
Okay.
Thank you. I thank my...
I don't say that Obasanjo is right. The president that swore to uphold the constitution flouted the constitution by saying he doesn't believe in majority.
All right, sir.
Thank you. I still maintain God helps all of us, but sometimes he uses people. The president used Folarin and Co. to out the dastardly act. That's one. It does not vitiate that point. Two, let's now talk about SOCA. SOCA has existed before I came in. Yes. So, even when I went there, I met a woman, relatively mentally deranged, that said he has had his child 8 years ago in that same place. So whether you like it or not, soca existed before we came. That's number one. Number two, Engineer Seyi Makinde said they attacked him at Aleshiloye when he went there to sing ball. Believe you me, and this is the truth, I was never aware of it. And did you tell me? No. Because Seyi Makinde, with all intent and purposes, belong to the violent group. So there is no reason. Even if he belonged to it, I'm known as a peaceful man. And at no time do I go around with talks or about talks. Today, some of the people that violated others at Popoye Moja, some of them are working with some of our so-called contestants. They are housing them. Police went there. When they saw the boy, they wanted to arrest him. One of the contestants called Abuja to say he's working with him. So, you know, Togri.
Who is this contestant?
Out of decorum, I'd rather keep it. Please, I'd rather keep it. Nevertheless, you see, when you reach a certain level in life, it's not everything you know you say. You must be decorous about it. And I maintain that stance. But I'm saying some of the contestants here present were part of it. But that, being that as it may, Seyi Makinde's case, the government, I don't know the details. In fact, it is news to me. Yeah.
Do you have any question for any of the candidates, Mr. Governor?
Well, I think since I'm the sitting governor, they should have more for me. But the only question I want to ask is that even if Seyi Makinde or any other contestants here had issues of violence, we must pursue it to a logical conclusion. The law must take its course. All of us must not encourage violence. That I maintain. Even when we exchange arguments and we argue, it's part of politics. We are all brothers in the end. So I don't think anybody should be so desperate as to be violent or as to be mischievous or as to be telling lies. I think we should avoid that. Thank you.
Senator Folarin.
Thank you very much. Talking about violence, let me, because at some point I'm sure His Excellency would allude to the fact that PDP is a violent party, but let me inform the people of Oyo State that the people responsible for violence in PDP, thankfully, has left the party. They have, so what we have now is a new, not you, Seyi Makinde. I don't have to mention any name. Not you. Don't say anything.
Okay, thank you.
So, no, seriously, the people responsible for violence have left the party, and it is not Seyi Makinde. But having said that, there's an issue, there's a serious issue about the involvement of NURTW in our body politics. We mustn't run away from it. And as much as His Excellency would claim that, oh, he's Mr. White when it comes to this, that is not correct. I'll give you two instances. 2 years ago, we were in the house of the late Akala to pay Salah visit. And the NURTW people who escorted him to Akala's house, they beat the hell out of our people. And that's the truth. The other one, please, the other one even doesn't concern me. When Senator Ladoja went to campaign in Olome, well, let us thank God that is.
All right. Before we round up this session, okay, Engineer Seyi Makinde.
What I'd like to say, basically, is Irrespective of the position we've taken and what we've fed our people, they know exactly the truth.
Okay, we are about rounding off. Senator Folarin, the last time I interviewed you, you forgot if Ajimobi was still your relation. Have you remembered now?
Sorry, what's the question again?
The last time I interviewed you, I asked you if Ajimobi was still your brother. You said you don't know. So do you know now?
I have my doubts.
All right, Senator Rasheed Ladoja. Do you have any question for any of the contestants? Yes, we are going.
Just a little remark as the most senior person here. I pity Senator Ajimobi. Yes, because it's a man on seat. It's to whom all the attacks are. It is true that his government has been the least tolerant. And it's not his fault. When you use consultants, they must earn their pay. In the process, the civil service has been destroyed because of excessive use of consultants. When you use public relations officers for propaganda, they put out those things to make you happy so that you can continue paying them their money. I mean, like most of the things that are written, I mean, the salaries are paid on the 25th, and this and that. But we know the truth now. The people have not got it. I mean, water is a 60% increase, but it's not coming out. Roads are amended, but these roads, what about the roads in the interior of Ibadan? Choice of priority is the major problem between governors. It's not the amount of money. And again, wastages must be reduced. We started the hotel at the back of Premier. Only God knows how much we spend here. Maybe $1 billion. We abandoned it. Technical University is abandoned.
Thank you very much. I think we are right on time.
It's not government to tell.
So we are right on time. I think we are now right on time. So we must call it a day. I think we need to give a round of applause to the contestants. And thank you very much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I think we need you to send a signal to the people of Oyo State and your supporters. I think we need to see you greet one another, to hug one another, greet yourself warmly, so they know that you are not enemies, that this is just politics. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. God bless you all.
ṣe